found out, Kevin. We've been saying his name right all along. He, in fact, did not bounce back there in that last game. Still down now by a score of 2. He's got himself 2 wins as well. Ladies and gentlemen, in the orange from FXO, it is Gumiho. And he is facing off against his opponent down here in the bottom right from Team Prime. In the blue, it is Creator. And I believe it was Shodan that threw out the comment, this is the match between the unstoppable force and the immovable object.
Yes, the good old tasteless cliche, but this is the perfect representation of that.
Well, what's happening here? I feel like...
well, I mean, the thing is that Gumiho...
the unstoppable force is losing.
Yeah, well, Gumiho at the very beginning did really well with his aggression. He, in game number 1, it lost just because Creator was like, okay, I know you're going to do something really ridiculous, so I'm going to prepare for it, and I'm going to 5-gate right away. Made it work. The next 2 games, Gumiho did a super clever timing attack. And if you guys are just joining us now, go back and watch game number 2 on Ohana. It is mind-blowing, the timing attack that Gumiho does with 1 Raven and Stim. It's gross. It is a build that is designed to kill Creator Prime and no other Protoss player in the world. It is to kill Creator Prime, and it works. Then game number 3 follows it up with more aggression, different aggression this time, and it works. But afterwards, Creator kind of caught on to this. He's like, okay, I'm just going to play safer. I'm going to take my expansions a little bit later, and I'm still going to find ways to kill you.
Yeah. So at this point, I mean, honestly, what we're encountering here is now we're on Abyssal City. And this is a map that notoriously has been difficult for Protoss players. It has often been touted, you know, the third base is next to impossible for Protoss to be able to hold their thirds against Terran players. You can do drops into the main. The distance between the natural and the third is incredibly large. And also, I've seen a lot of Protosses, you know, they, in fact, have thrown away games against third players. Look with a Warp Prism and some sentries, and instead of bothering to go for the main, they just unloaded that third and go in for an attack because they know it's so far away from the main and natural.
Andrew, I feel like I have to say something. Gumiho's not 2-raxing. We have an expansion coming down the right time.
He must win.
3 minutes and 10 seconds, and we don't have a second barracks.
Can I tell you what would be the most disgusting thing?
What's that?
If somehow Gumiho comes back here, and we're tied at 4-4, Game 5, Gumiho opens with a 2-rax and wins.
No, you get punished for it. Creator beat that.
Yeah, he would lose.
I'm going to go ahead and say any game that Gumiho does that, Creator's going to win.
I think maybe that is why the unstoppable force has been losing. He has been trying to break the rules of the unstoppable force.
I would have loved for him to do...
Unstoppable force can't 2-rax.
He obviously had a couple of ideas in mind. He's like, okay, I have a 2-rax build that I can use to put on pressure and kind of stall you out for a while I get up an economic advantage. I have this cool timing attack that I can use to kill you once, because that's all it's going to be good for, because Creator's going to be on the lookout for it from here on out. He's been scouting too well. And it worked. It did give him that game. But he doesn't have anything else in his bag of tricks.
5-gate, by the way.
Yes.
Which is what we're learning in the range of Gumiho's weird build here and what Creator has in his arsenal.
Right. You know, you're exactly right. But he didn't really have anything else in his bag of tricks. Everything other than that, I assume, has got to be just good standard play. And we haven't really just seen good standard play.
Yeah, it has been really interesting that there's been such a dynamic here, but it's not uncommon in Fight Club when these players have a lot of time to prepare against each other. And it's a best-of-9 series where you really need to start getting a little wonky because somebody is going to be better in standard play. And both of these players seem to be a little afraid of who the other... I think Creator was willing to play standard and then realized that Gumiho would come up with something that would counter his standard style of play, and so opened with that 5-gate. And since then, things have been crazy. They haven't recovered. We're in a downward spiral. Now, I mentioned before, we hadn't seen anything else out of Gumiho's bag of tricks. This is something out of his bag of tricks. We have a reactor factory. Yep, and it looks like he's going to be falling with the starport. So if he goes for Stim here, it's going to be 8:30. He'll be able to leave with 14 Marines, Stim, and his reactored Hellions. I will say this is something that Gumiho's done pretty well, though. Creator's always trying to seek more information. Now, he's a guy who's always been very good about that. Produces a lot of observers, as we said at the beginning of this match. Gets out, scouts well, everything like that. But this time, once again, he's going for robotics facility first. At a time when we'd honestly like to have a few more units on the ground. That's actually very true. He's going to follow up with the 2 quick gateways, though. Creator not dropping any additional barracks with this, so it does look like he's going to actually be going into Banshee play here behind this Reactor Hellion opening. Hellion Banshee attack. Now, you see this a lot against Zerg players, of course. Get 4 to 6 Hellions out there. Looks like this is going to be probably the 6 Hellion variant. And then move out there with a cloaked Banshee behind this to provide
provide additional DPS.
But Creator does like making 2 observers, which is just so much better against Cloak than just 1. He's also going to be getting a Twilight Council very quickly here, instead of going for that very Creator-esque style that this Cloak Banshee play may work a little bit better against, at least. I mean, this would work well. Hold that thought. We've got the Hellions getting in here in the natural expansion. Getting a lot of damage in on these probes, actually. Quite a few go down. Surprised the Hellions don't return, but in fact, they're going to make their way into the main base, getting off some serious volleys, serious damage here against Creator Prime. He's lost quite a bit of probes already.
He's lost a few, yeah. I mean, but honestly, the target fire's not been great for Gumiho. He could have killed a lot more, I feel. He's going to try and do a little bit more damage here, singes a few more, needs to actually get a couple more kills, though, to make this worth it, because so far 600 minerals in Hellions is certainly nothing to sneeze at.
Nice splitting there out of Creator, most certainly. If we can take a look at his economy over the course of it all, 8 workers killed. So 400 minerals lost for Creator, but of course mining time as well. We can actually see he's continuing to make those 45. He still holds the worker advantage overall.
There are 2 observers out. I'm not actually sure where they're both at, if one's here or back at the main, because I know one's across at his opponent's base.
He actually left both over there last time. In this situation, the Hellions continuing to poke through the natural expansion. That observer is very far away.
Oh, there we go. He just finished a new one. Yeah.
So we'll chase away the Banshee.
He does. There is a second Banshee behind this, though. You saw the first one did actually rack up a few kills. 14 kills in total, so 6 more workers did die to that extra bit of harassment.
Hellions are going to be retreating here. I think it looks like he spotted the observer. But Gumiho, yeah, he's going to be bringing his Banshees together, in fact, and hasn't lost too much now. He's maintained most of these units. Yeah,
and he's going into bio after this. I'd love to see Mech, of course. I mean, I'm sure Artosa somewhere would agree with me, but love to see some sort of mech play out of this. We haven't seen used effectively by a couple of different people, notably C at IPL 5. It's not going to be the case here. Nice spread of units for Gumiho, and he should be able to detect pretty much anything that hits him, in addition to having those flanking opportunities with harassment units.
Yeah, but this is a little scary for Gumiho. He's got a lot in the production tab right now. Stim, the +1/+1, all these things that are still a ways away from finishing up. And Creator, on the other hand, you know, he actually just dropped a robotics bay, so he's going to be, in fact, a long way off from attacking anytime in the near future. I was a little worried with the possibility of some blink play here out of Creator, with, you know, so few, honestly, just potent bio units here from Gumiho, but it looks like he's just going to be maintaining excellent map control, actually, while both players tech up.
Now, this is where Gumiho has thrived. Gumiho has done a great job this entire set of being able to establish bases before his opponent does, and we see, once again, a third, along with an orbital command, finished up well before it ever comes online for Creator Prime. So that's where he's found his advantages. That's where he's found the ability to be able to set Creator Prime back, and he's doing it again. So yeah. I've got to say, I like Gumiho's position. I'm not totally thrilled with it, but I think he's a little bit ahead.
Yeah, I mean, I remember Creator taking thirds slowly as well. Even if we look back into older metagames where thirds were a little bit harder on, you know, maps like Belshire Beach.
Yeah.
And Gumiho, or excuse me, Creator would use the +1/+1, +2/+2. He would continue to double forge out upgrades. In this situation, he's only got 1 forge. I'm surprised to see him taking such late expansions with only 1 forge.
Yes, I agree with that, because if he was planning to hit 3 base big Colossus attacks or something like that, even Templar added in, which is a couple of armor upgrades, that makes more sense.
Yeah.
But waiting on this for a long time is kind of voluntarily sacrificing economy for not a big apparent reason.
Also, he's going for armor upgrades. And although he's going for charge, he's also accompanying this with Colossi, which are not going to receive really much of any benefit at all from these armor upgrades.
All right, so Banshee inside of the main at the same time. We're having an attack over on the side, so this is a fair bit of economic damage.
Wow.
The base goes down. Gumiho is just going to stim his ass out of there and try and get back home. Oh, wow, look at this. And he's killing probes inside of the main and the natural at the same time. Gumiho with some excellent harassment.
This is really clean control out of Gumiho, actually. At first looking like Creator just had his units out of position, but in fact we see Gumiho's continuing to pull him direction from direction. Now it looks like Creator is gearing up for a large counterattack. We'll see what he can get done with it. But he's still got vital units such as Colossi back at home, and he wants them here for this counter.
Whoa, 36 workers killed in total, 41 probes to 68 SCVs, and a dead base. Gumiho is miles ahead. If he defends this next engagement, he wins the game. It's going to come down to that, though.
All right, well, Creator is waiting moments that are extremely vital to him, but he, of course, needs to wait for these Colossi to rejoin with the forces as he's gearing up for this attack. He knows that this is his time to strike, but he cannot wait any longer. But, well, simply put, he actually needs to because his Colossus isn't here yet. It's not. Where is it?
Yeah, he's only got one.
He's got a second one.
Yeah, it's running up from somewhere. I'm not sure where it's at the moment.
It wasn't a natural.
Already, those Vikings getting pretty far ahead, but point defense drone goes down. We have a second one available, too, so the Stalkers are actually held up for a little while, and that allows the Vikings to free fire on the Colossi. The Colossi are doing a little bit of damage, so Gumiho has to back up, but again, he only has to stabilize, and he is in a great spot.
Yeah, he just can't lose too many workers here, but honestly, he can throw away units as long as he doesn't allow that critical loss where Creator can then steamroll to win the game. 2-2 isn't done yet for Gumiho. He wants these SCVs to get in the front. They finally will. The Colossus is going to fall with it. The damage output of Creator is almost non-existent. The bio units of Gumiho are doing real damage here to Creator.
That's right. We still do have a couple of Immortals. They have actually racked up some kills, 11 kills on that first one, but you can see that Bioforce, with the sustain from the medevacs above, has finally started to push this army back, and that's a very real problem for Creator. Again, all he had to do was stabilize. Yes, he just took some worker losses. He just threw away 20, but GG. That's it. GG, and it's 4-3.
Gumiho playing incredibly well that game. Creator just not able to handle his drops. We haven't seen a lot of it, actually. Gumiho not hitting with the multi-prong really since game number 1, and brings it out there.
All right, well, we're going to move into game number 8. There's 2 maps left in the map pool. This map actually is going to be Atlanta Spaceship, and that actually leaves Entomb Valley for the ace match if we get there.
If we make it, but Atlanta Spaceship is a mighty large map, and here chosen by Creator. We'll have to see if he can manage to take the win. It is 4-3, neck and neck.
And just as a reminder for everyone out there, if you're in Southern California, Las Vegas, you want to come out next week on Thursday and see a free 4-player $10,000 StarCraft 2 tournament. Then head over to go.ign.com/DiceIPL to pick up your free tickets. You'll, of course, be able to see incredible players. We have Scarlet, Violet, Grubby, and Lucifer competing in a double elimination bracket for $10,000. The tournament is absolutely free, no catches. Pick up your ticket right there. If you actually get a ticket to that and you show up to the event, we'll also hand you a free ticket to IPL 6 too. So it's a double deal.
Which we've got at this point just, 1-2 days left. There's barely any time left, guys, to secure your tickets for only $15 to IPL 6.
That's right. If you're not going to be at the DICE event, but you still want to come to IPL 6 and check out all the games that we're going to have there, head over to IGN.com/IPL6 or tickets.IGN.com. Nab your tickets now because they're only $15 before the end of the month.
Bring your friends because, honestly, it makes the event so much more fun having a lot of friends in Vegas. That's kind of how we all rode to Atlantic City for IPL 3.
Yeah.
That's a great time.
That was an interesting event. I have very weird stories from that, too, so of just weird things that happened on the boardwalk and such.
We'll have to talk about them during the break.
Yes. Several, not me, but like drug-fueled hobos and things like that, so... It was
glad it's in Vegas now.
Atlantic City is an interesting place. But, guys, we're going to run to a commercial break, and when we get back, it'll be time for game number 8. We'll see if Creator can finish it out or if Gumiho's going to send us to an ace match.